Okay, so I just had to say it one last time, and you're all gonna get mad at me, and that's fine, because I'm being a negative Nancy, but sometimes you watch so much wrestling, and you can't get those thoughts out of your brain, so given I do have somewhat of a platform, I just need to vent. Smackdown is too long. I mean, the first segment was everybody arriving at the building, otherwise how the hell would we know they did arrive on the blue brand? When we cut to Pat McAfee and Michael Cole, they're not even part of Smackdown. And yes, this is because Pat is a local hero in the area. They talked about the Royal Rumble, they talked about Smackdown, they talked about the Royal Rumble some more. When they went, oh yeah, Joe Tessitore, he's actually commentator. Joe, take it away. It all comes down to a simple question, and once again, I know I'm being an annoying Alan, but would we have done this if Smackdown wasn't a 2-hour show? No, we would not. And look, of course it doesn't matter, but I just remember back in 2024, that old year that I look back on wonderfully, and when Smackdown was a 120-minute program, man, it was just firing on all cylinders. So now I just missed that a bit, so I do have to give it a down. Now remember, the comments are there, so you can shout at me, you stupid bald man, what are you doing? I get it. There's nothing I can do. I am me. Otherwise though, hello my friends, and welcome to Ups and Downs, the wrestling review show where, yes, I, Simon Miller, just give you my opinions, and I do it using the finger of power. And when things are good, we say up. When things are not as good, we say down. But we always remember that wrestling isn't made for me, and it's not made for you. It's made for everyone. So even if we don't like something, we smile and we move on by. Let's up those downs. And of course, we are but hours away from the Royal Rumble, so I am super pumped. And Kevin Owens knows this. He's in the pseudo-main event, and he came out to remind us all. Now, Joe Tessitore was hosting this interview because he had decided, well, I do want to be a balanced interviewer, so I should interview KO, and the two belts were hanging right there. Oh, how I laughed. The whole point of that Saturday night's main event addendum contract signing was to hoist these things up in the air, and given they were right in front of his face, Kevin went, I'm just gonna take my title back. I mean, that's what you would do. It's like if I fed you cookies and then told you not to eat the cookies, you're going to keep eating the cookies. Owens could barely talk here as well because he was getting booed so much when he said he is so sick of all these Cody Rhodes fanboys forgiving him, and everybody is looking past KO because he is going to win at the Royal Rumble, he will be the champion, then he's storming on to WrestleMania. KO then sort of intimidated Joe Tessitore before he decided, you know what, I am going to leave. Maybe he had left the oven on. When we got quite the twist and quite the surprise, because do you know who interrupted him? CM Punk. Now, if you know, you know, these two have proper beef and a real history. So if you do have 5 minutes today, Google is your friend, then you'll go back and watch this and you'll be like, oh my hot damn gosh. It just meant it was a big time Bernard moment, and these fans must have known because they started chanting holy shib. But interestingly, CM Punk was like, actually, Mr. Kevin Owens, I would like to apologize to you for 2 things. 1, he is sorry for interrupting. I was like, you can't say sorry for doing something you literally just chose to do. Oh, hey, man. Oh, I'm sorry. What are you for? Oh, I'm sorry again. And 2, he is sorry if he was looking past Kevin Owens, but CM Punk is not looking past Kevin Owens, because he knows if Kevin can beat angry Cody Rhodes at the Royal Rumble, yeah, he will go on to WrestleMania. However, that means it will suck to be Kevin Owens because CM Punk is planning to win the Royal Rumble, so he'll go to WrestleMania and he will make that one short-ass title reign. That's like a horrible relationship. You know what? I love you. Oh, man. Do you really? No. Now, Kevin Owens thought this was a great idea because then he could whoop CM Punk's ass on that evening when he did that thing that always makes me laugh because it does tie into reality. He was like, CM Punk, the man who dreamt of main eventing WrestleMania. Let's just do a quick check here. You've got none, and this guy's got 2. He also called Punk a miserable failure, which is kind of intense, when he actually said the thought of Punk failing made him feel warm and fuzzy. And I was like, Kevin, please say tum-tum. Please say tum-tum. Now, in my head, he said tum-tum. In reality, he did not say tum-tum. This is when he was going to leave, but CM Punk stopped him because he was like, oh, well, let's have a little bit of a conversation because somebody has tried to win the world title 5 times at the Royal Rumble and failed. That would be you. Punk has also never lost to somebody like Logan Paul, and he doesn't manipulate his friends. Once again, if you weren't able to figure this one out, he was absolutely taking shots at Kevin Owens. They both have challenges though, because of course Kevin does have to get past Cody, whereas CM Punk, as he said, has to throw 29 people out of the Royal Rumble. And my nerd brain kicked in. I was like, actually, CM, that's not true. You think you're going to be the only person to throw people out? That it's literally never happened. It then looked like they were going to fight when KO decided he would leave. And listen, I don't think we are going to do this at WrestleMania, but do I think we should do it at some point in 2025? Yes, I do. And it's just a massive bravo to both of them and everybody in WWE. Because if we go into our fake wrestling book now, we have about 4,726 matches that at some point we're going to have to do, and at some point are all going to be great. It also makes the Royal Rumble feel even more important because, yes, we all have our predictions, but nobody knows who's going to win. Maybe we do pull the trigger with KO, although I don't think it's going to happen. This is absolutely going to get an up. I mean, if you did do the proper feud, it would be ridiculous. And then for some reason, The Miz told Nick Aldis he wants to punch Andrade in the face. Now, this is probably because he tried to become friends with Andrade last week, but still, that's a bit nuts. You can't say, hello, my buddy. Would you like to be my buddy? And they refuse, so you decide you want to kill them. Anyway, like a kid's cartoon, it turned out Andrade was stood behind him. We're going to do that match later. Carmello Hayes then walked to the ring because Jimmy Uso had just cut a promo on Carmello Hayes, so Carmello Hayes was going to cut a promo on him, and he said, hey Jimbo, you ain't the one, you're the two. Now that's not the worst insult, but also, given it was the Usos that called themselves the ones, that would mean that if you were going to change it around, Jey Uso is now the one, which would make Jimmy Uso number 2, and that means Carmello Hayes at the very best is number 3. I don't think you thought this through. He then insulted Tyrese Halliburton, who was in the crowd, because, you know, he is a heel, and you have to go after the local sports team when these two had a match, and I tell you, it was damn entertaining. Now, Melo was on top until he tried to headbutt Jimmy, but you can't do that because he's Samoan, and actually, Carmello came off worse here. When Jimbo was able to come back with the Sagat uppercut, when he also went for a dive and totally whiffed on it. Hayes then went for the hip attack, but Jimmy was kind of able to throw him up in the air when Carmello was like, nope, I'm going to smash you with a DDT. This is when I did put my tush in the chair, because I was just going to enjoy it. It was then Carmello who was able to get the dive, but when he went for the hip attack, Jimmy Uso just booted him in the head. And honestly, do not make me start, that wasn't English, but don't make me start a did you hit the hippocat counter. I can't even say that out loud. Jimmy Uso then got the Samoan drop, and he is Samoan, so that makes all the sense in the world. Went from nowhere, Hayes hit the first 48, and he got a 1-2-ooh, and then he also got a 1-2-ooh when he hit his version of the splash, and he couldn't believe it. I was like, bro, that ain't even your move. And also, have you never watched wrestling before? This happens all the time. Hayes soon went for a springboard, but Jimmy Uso just super kicked him right in the face. And I could have watched this for a solid 10 more minutes, but instead they engaged in the most devastating move in all of sports entertainment surprise roll-up battle. And because Carmello had tried to hold Jimmy's tight, he was like, you don't get to do that to me. So he did it instead. Damn it, he got the 1-2-3. I actually shouted out, good for you, Jumbo, which is not his name, but you deserve that, although Carmello Hayes needs some wins soon as well. But because this felt fresh like bread, and because I didn't really know who was going to win, it was just so satisfying that we do have a winner, and we do have a loser. If you want to do this again, no problem with me, up. We then got the Royal Rumble by the numbers video, so I was like, oh man, all is right with the world. When we cut to Byron Saxton, he was talking to Chelsea Green. And she was not happy with what Michin did last week when she also declared for the Royal Rumble. So I was having such a good time. I love how we have decided the Royal Rumble competitors this year. All you do is say things. That's it. I mean, you could accidentally wind up in the Royal Rumble. Chelsea is also now calling Piper Niven her secret Hervis. That is so wonderfully stupid. I love it. And then we got this match, Michin versus Chelsea Green for the US title. It ended in a disqualification. Now, yes, once again, because the championship was on the line, I didn't think we were going to switch it here. It was just slap bang in the middle of a random SmackDown, and we had Piper and we had B-Fab, so you just knew there was going to be shenanigans. There was. I suppose it also means these two can have beef when they enter the Royal Rumble, and as we keep on saying, the best Royal Rumbles have all these side quests, so at least it makes sense. It just did feel a little bit like a shame, though, and that we're elongating this feud just a little bit. I mean, look at some of the stories we're telling with the other championships. This is a brand new one. Just feel like we could be doing a little bit more. It was super short as well, and of course Michin had the thing won after the Eat Defeat, but Piper just grabbed her out of the ring, and the referee was totally fine with this. Although once again, she is part of the secret Hervis, so in terms of the hierarchy, well, she outranks a stupid referee. B-Fab tried rolling her back in the ring, which is when this got out of hand. Because Michin had come to the ring with Kenny the Kendo stick, Chelsea just went, screw this, and she whacked her with it. And of course that caused a disqualification, and it didn't even work. Michin was like, excuse me, that's my Kenny the Kendo stick, and she whipped her ass instead. And the real issue is when we did get this call, I actually went, ah man, because I didn't want to see it. I just do not think this was executed in the way that we were planning. It felt like a stepping stone to get to the real stepping stone. And that doesn't even make any sense. And listen, I like everybody involved here. Chelsea Green is absolutely wonderful, and having B-Fab featured more is the right move. But I do have to give it a down, especially because it went so fast. didn't really have a chance to feel important. Saxton then went full troll because he was talking to Bianca, Belair and Naomi. He said, "Oh, hi, you're both in the Royal Rumble. What the hell are you going to do?" Now they don't care about any of this because Bianca was like, well, either she wins or I win, and we are best buds, so it is going to be fine. That's that, man. You're so going to fall out when Jay Cargill returns and go, excuse me, Naomi, you tried to kill me with your car. They also have a match later that we'll get to in just 1 second when we had another Charlotte Flair video. And man, do I like these. Because Charlotte was basically like, oh man, I hear what you say about me on the internet, and all of it is true. I am selfish, I am the best, and I win a lot of championships. Honestly, if she comes back as a super duper whooper mega heel, well, she should win that damn Royal Rumble. It will be such a good character. Lean into the madness, man. Color me excited. So I just think this is going to be so good, as was what WWE did next. I mean, I didn't have this on my bingo card. And Damien Preist. Bingo! Sir, we've talked about this. That is not how bingo works. It was Damien Preist coming to the ring, though, and of course, he's new to SmackDown. This guy's the best babyface. He was like, listen, 2024 was all about establishing myself, but now I am on Friday nights. I am going to win some championships. It, of course, starts with the Royal Rumble, and I think he was already in, but he said the words, now he has to compete. When of all the people, he got interrupted by the Bloodline 2.0, although I don't even think they're called that anymore, but it was Jacob Fatu, and it was Tonga. Whatever that thing he does is. And this was just another opportunity for Jacob to cut another promo, and man, he went full Britney Spears, because oops, he did it again. This was fire. So he did talk about the things that Preist have achieved, and let's face it, it's way more than all of those in the back. And he also understands they kind of come from similar backgrounds, but you on my show now, and I ain't hitting the brakes. This is all gas, so you've got a choice. You either lay down or we put you down. Honestly, he spoke with so much aggression. If Damien had just laid down, I'd be like, dude, I don't even disrespect it. I totally understand. He also mentioned the fact the big difference between them is that he has been to jail, although he called it being inside a box, and I hope he didn't mean that literally. And Damien Preist was great too, because he then got the mic and it's like, dude, you think I'm intimidated by you? No, we are from the same place, and why are we even talking because of that? Well, he super kicked Tonga right in the face. This meant we got the big old stare down, and it did feel like a mega match that you want to see, when, of course, Jacob Fatu and Tonga used the numbers game. Like, can I presume LA Knight was in the back with a calculator going, wait a minute, this doesn't add up at all? Because he ran to the ring with Charlie the Chair. Now he made sure to smack Jacob Fatu as well until they did bail. When it turned out, LA Knight is now in charge of SmackDown because he was like, yeah, we're going to do a tag team match later, yeah. Now, of course, this is because SmackDown is 3 hours now, so we've got to do something. But this is getting an up, and all 4 of these guys should be the centerpiece of SmackDown. Like, even watching it in motion here, I can feel my body saying, yep, that's the way to do it. We also saw Legado del Fantasma and the Motor City Machine Guns chatting backstage. And this Santos Escobar is so funny. He was like, look who it is. The people getting their opportunity later, whereas me and Berto and Angel, we don't get any opportunities at all. I was like, yeah, bro, it's because you always lose. I think the whole point of this, though, is that Shelley and Sabre could say, well, we will give you the first shot when we do win. And while I understand that's how wrestling works, that would be the biggest farce ever. We also got the footage of Triple H being told by Shawn Michaels on The Undertaker that he is going into the Hall of Fame this year. And man, I could not approve of this anymore. 1, he did have a Hall of Fame career, but also 2, on a personal level, he inspired me to go to the gym, and that changed my entire life. That's enough for him to go in. Not that part, I meant the wrestling part. Don't put him in the Hall of Fame because he made me lift weights. As the strangest sentence I've ever said in my life. When Chris Sabin and Alex Shelley were indeed teaming with Angel and Berto, it's totally bizarre. They were taking on DIY and pretty deadly. Berto and Elton started before Tommaso Ciampa got in there. He was so damn mad that he probably does need to calm down. When Shelley tried to tag in, the Angel did it instead when Chris Sabin also stole the slap. It's like, man, these guys aren't getting on at all. Eventually, Johnny Gargano snuck in there as well, but he totally dropped the ball because the good guys went, let's do some dives, capital D. Kit Wilson then tagged in, but Chris was actually able to take him and his partner out instantly when Angel just whipped off his pants. Once again, I don't think there's many other things you can watch where you can actually say those words together. The Terror Klaxon then went off so everybody was fighting when Angel did a moonsault to the outside, and given what happened on Raw with JD McDonough, I tell you, I was having kittens. Berto then got a bomb of power for a good 1-2, although realistically that was never going to happen. When, of course, we had some bad times and Legado del Fantasma fell out with the machine guns. This is when Angel and Berto did leave, although actually the same thing was going to happen on the other side of the ring, because all of a sudden DIY and Pretty Deadly couldn't coexist either. One of them just vanished into the Phantom Zone. Well, that's not true, because Ciampa just booted Elton Prince right in the face, and he didn't know what to do, so Pretty Deadly left. Because of course they would. Why would you want to tag in? And this is when Saban was like, all right, and he hit the most devastating move in all of sports entertainment, surprise roll-up. My word, they just beat the tag team champions. Now I'm gonna have to get that down right away, because so far on the show, the finishes have been surprise roll-up, DQ, surprise roll-up, and guess how the next match ends? That's right, it's a surprise roll-up, so we are getting ahead of ourselves here, but down. However, the machine guns pinning the champions makes all the sense in the world, because I don't think they are going to win at the Royal Rumble, but this just does nice and simple booking where you can believe, and also all these four teams are great, and when they were cooking, you wanted to eat those eggs, giving it up. The best part is after this too, when DIY were in the back, they bumped into Tama Tonga and Jacob Fatu, and Tama Tonga was looking at those titles while he was doing his weird thing. And I was like, yep, give them the belts, that'll rule. DIY also found Pretty Deadly, and they were so mad at them. And finally, Kit Wilson and Elton Prince have learned from Apollo Crews, even though he wasn't around this week, and they said, you know what, we're not gonna help you anymore, and at the Royal Rumble, you are by yourself. So the Fellowship is dead, and then during one of these Netflix commercials, we really wanted you to believe that Tyrese Halliburton is going to be in the Royal Rumble, when I am just giving SmackDown an up. We did this Kevin Owens versus Cody Rhodes video package. You don't need to hear me talk about it. Go and watch it right now. Or in about 4 minutes. When we continued our path, which surely is going to see Liv Morgan and Raquel, I wear sunglasses now because I am a bad guy, become the tag team champions, because it was Naomi versus Liv. I liked all of this. Now, of course, Naomi was whipping Morgan's ass before Raquel did cast Distraction, which allowed Morgan to come back with the backstabber, and thankfully that move name is not literal. She then applied the dreaded chin lock, and if you did go quiet, you could hear Naomi shouting, "Oh, my chin." That's absolutely not true. She was so upset she kicked Morgan in the skull and got a crossbody for a 1-2-0 when Liv Morgan came back for a code breaker for a 1-2-0 of herself. And to be fair, once again, I didn't really know who was going to win here, so I could buy in. Naomi then took her ass and used it as a weapon, which is the only way I can describe the rear view, don't get mad at me, when she also hit the split-legged moonsault, and she was going to win when Raquel Rodriguez was casting Distraction again. Now, it didn't really work because this is when, yes, Liv Morgan and Naomi also engaged in the most devastating moves in all of sports entertainment. It was another surprise roll-up battle, and eventually Naomi got it, 1, 2, 3. Now, I've already talked about this, but this was way too many surprise roll-ups on one flabbing show. Ram, or Raquel and Morgan, then beat up Bianca and Naomi, and we should absolutely start calling them that. And it finished with Raquel giving a bomb of power onto these two, using Liv Morgan as a human projectile. And Liv was fine with it. She sat there like, yeah, I had a good time, can we go again? I really do enjoy it though, because Rodriguez is now coming across like a monster. Liv just has the best facial expressions, so he should do that Jade Cargill thing. Bianca and Naomi should go on their separate ways, and these two should become the brand new women's tag team champions. I think there's a lot in that. Up. When Andrade beat the Miz, and look, I like both of these guys, but there isn't really much to say about it. In about 10 minutes, they did do a Spanish fly off the top, so more power to the Miz. That's a really scary move. And that sounds somewhat pathetic, but trust me it is. Now, I did have a bit of a freak out because these two also traded surprise roll-ups. I was like, man, I can't handle it again. When the Miz got to his feet, Andrade smashed him with the back elbow, 1, 2, 3. So given there was nothing on the line here and it's not really a feud, I don't mind having a fun short match on SmackDown. And it does tie into the 3-hour problem again. But listen, if I have fun, I'm not gonna moan. Damien Priest and Santos Escobar then basically fell out backstage. I suppose that's a mini feud we can do on TV. When of all the people who popped up, it was R-Truth. Now he thought he was on Raw, and I love this man so much, and he was telling Damien, dude, you can't be on Mondays and Fridays. You've got to stop abusing the window and pick a lane. Damien was like, this is SmackDown, and R-Truth was like, no, it's not. I just saw Adam Pearce, and he's grown hair now. Who the hell doesn't want more R-Truth on their TV? Now, as I'm a nerd, I couldn't help myself too, because Damien was treating this as, oh, you're such a card. But if you jump back 1 year, he was trying to kill R-Truth, only in wrestling. Priest and LA Knight then had a chat about strategy, because they are going to be in the main event later. And Damien Priest actually said, listen, we're good for tonight, but at the Royal Rumble, I don't know you. Hey man, good luck in the Rumble. Yeah! Psst, come here a second. Who the hell is that guy? Shinsuke Nakamura is also lurking in the background. I really have no idea what the hell we are doing with that title reign. But I suppose we'll have to wait and see. We talked about it last week. Zelina Vega then basically did exactly the same because she went, oh, hi, Tiffany Stratton. I would also like to fight for your championship. So that could be a TV feud. When Tiffany decided to go to the ring. Now, Michael Cole was doing the interviewing here, and he said, oh, how has your life changed ever since you became the champion? Tiffany went, yeah, not really that much, because I've always felt like one anyway. Pat McAfee also wanted to know if she's worried about Nia Jax, but Stratton didn't care about that either. When, oh my gosh, Candice LeRae interrupted, and all my dreams came true. She was mad that Tiffany even dared to utter Nia Jax's name because she didn't deserve to be in the same breath, when she also said Tiffy time is over. I was like, oh man, I didn't know Candice LeRae was in charge of the watch. And then did explode, because Candice, you flipping legend, she must have watched the show last week or rewatched it and gone, that's all you need to do, because she realized she had a microphone and she told Tiffany Stratton, I'm going to be in the Royal Rumble. Honestly, doing the dance of joy, this is the best. She is also now my pick and my favorite, and she's not going to win. But I'm so damn proud of you, Candice. Trust me, she doesn't need my pride at all. This all then got physical because Nia Jax teleported in from the Starship Enterprise, but when she went to splash Tiffany, she totally missed and killed Candice instead. Or actually, Jax wasn't worried about this at all, because she just popped Tiffany in the face and then destroyed her with the Annihilator. So Nia Jax is working double duty at the moment because she is just going after all the belts, and even when she loses one, she goes for the other, and vice versa. But I tell you, man, Nia Jax is so good at being Nia Jax, I don't mind it at all. I find her very entertaining. In fact, that's so true, I've done a video about it that will be live soon, but I am giving this an up. It's nothing to do with you, Tiffany, and it's nothing to do with you, Nia Jax. This is all for Candice LeRae. She learned, man. Damn it, we made it. When our main event was indeed Preist and Knight taking on Fatu and Tonga, which we can actually abbreviate to Pac versus Fat, eventually I'll stop doing this. Now, yes, it did mean that the go-home show for the Royal Rumble was basically Raw, but there is an upside to this. Like, they are all going to be in the Royal Rumble, but once again, the fact that they are propping up SmackDown, well, this is what you want to do. At the moment, they're kind of like your other stars, but you give them some time, and they'll be tippity top stars too. The baby faces are so damn smart as well, because they just jumped the former, or maybe current Bloodline 2.0, and that worked as well. You don't want to look dumb. Even when Jake and Fatu tried to get in there, Damien, Preist, and LA Knight had good chemistry and they were able to cut him off. But that's why Tama Tonga exists, because he had maxed out his MP and he cast distraction. But then Fatu was able to go after Damien's neck, and eventually he was dropping elbows. So LA Knight decided, well, I drop elbows, so I'll do that too. But I tell you, we got more missed hip attacks. I've talked about this before. Don't make me start a counter for that. It'd be totally lame. Preist was then so pissed off, he just grabbed Tama Tonga and threw him over at the announce table when he did the old school Undertaker rope walk. And I should have talked about this sooner. Of all the people to adopt that move, that's damn well perfect. He then went to the razor's edge, but instead Tonga was able to apply the sleeper because nobody had 8 hours. When LA Knight was just so enraged, he charged at Jacob for 2, and these two went spilling into Timmy the Timekeeper's area. I think Tama Tonga was enjoying that so much he forgot what he was doing when he ran at Damien, right into the big old choke slam, and Damien Priest pinned him for the 1, 2, 3. This made me so pleased. Damien Priest is like now the main guy of SmackDown. Of course, Jacob saw this and lost his mind, and in about 3 seconds he'd done that trio of moves, super kick, pop-up Samoan, and the moonsault. And honestly, maybe he is going to skip the US title scene altogether and go straight for the World Championship. I mean, I don't think you can deny it. He is pretty flubbing good. Either way, when it does come to the Rumble, Jacob has to throw out at least 5 people. I'm saying at least, then yeah. In terms of something you could just sit down and enjoy, totally giving it an up. Which brings us to the end of SmackDown, and overall I did think it was a fun show, but some of it you could have totally missed, and that is crazy given that we were 24 hours before the Royal Rumble, but at the same token, we are 24 hours before the Royal Rumble, and I'm sure a lot of people are just focused on that instead, but it was alright. Up. Now, of course, please do leave me a comment below and let me know what you thought about the 3 hours of SmackDown. Sorry, I'm being a dickhead there, I do apologise. And click the video on the screen, which is my ups and downs for Monday Night Raw. Get all of my opinions, like the video, share the video, and subscribe. But otherwise, enjoy the pay-per-view PLE Raw Rumble, my friends. It does come but once a year. I'll see you in the morning to up those downs. Love you all. Goodbye.